Hello there, and welcome to the CP7 podcast. My name's Palm.
And I'm Andy.
And together, we are Chrono Passion 7. Hello, and welcome back to your favourite watch-related podcast, free and independent, where passion is our middle name. We're back from Geneva. We have many stories to tell. We've got much to go through, but the most important thing is we have the inaugural CP7 Golden Tiger Awards. But before we get into that, a quick wristwatch check. Andy, what have you got on the wrist then?
I'm going to stick to the theme of the watch which I wore to Watches and Wonders. So I'm wearing the AP 5043 in platinum. A great little watch. I'm still enjoying it today, but I'm sure everybody's heard everything about the Diva already. Yeah, over to you, Pam. What's on your wrist?
The Disco Diva. So what is on my wrist is one of the watches that changed my outlook on my watch collecting and my watch collection. It's not the Cartier Pasha. It is the Seiko Lordmatic from 1972, 36mm, steel case, beads of rice, original bracelet with a spring-loaded extension clasp, Breguet numerals, linen silver dial. It's a beauty. Very simple, very easy to wear, very affordable, and it's just something you can not worry about. So I am not wearing my Watches and Wonders watch, but I am wearing a watch that makes me feel chilled out and relaxed. So that's what I've got on my wrist.
Awesome. A great watch. I think before we get into the Golden Tiger Awards, the first year of the awards ceremony from the CP7 podcast.
Big year.
Yeah, big year. You know, we could be taking over the Geneva watch scene with our new award.
These could be the premier awards of the watch world.
Yep.
The red carpet is out.
With a logo on it.
The orchestra's ready, primed and ready. Every CEO of every watch brand is sitting here with us at CP7 HQ, waiting to collect their awards.
Yeah, I can see it happening, definitely. Why not? Never say never. But before we get into it, I think first it's nice to share a little bit of the story behind going to the event, what we got up to a little bit before we get to the watches. So over to you, Pam. How did it all start out for you?
Yeah, it was quite smooth, an easy flight. I met Ollie from the limited edition at Heathrow, who'd missed his flight, which was quite funny because he seemed a bit... I think when you miss your flight, you seem quite on edge, and he was he was a bit on edge. But yeah, it was great to see Ollie. When you bump into people at the airport, it's always nice. Makes the flight a lot easier. My flight was quite smooth, and then the quiche place was reopened, so that's no longer shut down. Normal service has resumed. And yeah, I just sort of got there, waited for Andy. There was a strange guy with a big sort of blanket on walking around the place. I don't know if maybe he was suffering from some issues, but it was harmless, didn't say anything to anyone. And then Andy messaged me, "Oh, I'm on my way out." And I said, "I'm just sitting outside. Look for the guy wearing the blanket." And I think that's how he found me. That's why I mentioned the guy with the blanket.
Yeah, first of all, are you the guy with the blanket? What's the story of that?
This is my hotel, the airport.
Yeah, cheaper. That's what it comes to. But yeah, it was fun, right? We had 1 or 2 or 3 beers in the quiche place, just putting the world to right, which is always fun. And then quick turnaround, we had a good catch up with Mr. Martin Green, the editor at large for Watch Time magazine, and a good friend of the podcast. And yeah, it was just good to catch up, right? Shoot the breeze, talk watches, and yeah, it always feels like the time goes too quick. That's the only thing I'd say. Like, it feels like a flash in the pan, these meetups. Yeah,
we had lobster spaghetti, but it was in the shell, so you had to break it.
The real, what I sent you, Lethal Weapon 2 or something, no? And his
No, the Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Naked Gun. And his,
It was a Naked Gun. One of the Naked Gun movies. I can't remember the second
I think it was
one,
number 2 or something. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We're funny. Yeah, it just reminded me instantly of all of us fighting with a lobster claw.
I thought it would just be shelled, but it wasn't. It was in its shell.
Yeah, it was a little bit of work, unexpected work, but fun. A few nice whiskies after, which set us up nicely for the first day of the event. But actually, I woke up feeling pretty good. I didn't feel too bad.
Yeah, the 3 beers at the airport, and then we went. What was it? A German pub opposite the station.
Yeah,
was it Geneva Station? Yeah. Then we walked to dinner, got home, already raring to go for the big event. Obviously, Rolex releases were leaked. Quite underwhelming. Yeah, it was just, these years are just kind of merging into one. Maybe we should have just got the beginning of last year's show and just put it on just added it in. Maybe I'll do that in case this doesn't sound that good.
Copy and paste. Look, I think to summarise, we don't have to spend much time on it. In fast summary, it started like every other event. We did the classic meet-up, met up with Martin, which was great. So it was precious for time we get with him. And then day one event, we kind of know this is our third year now, so we kind of know the lay of the land. We know where we're going. And it starts to feel more familiar. And I wouldn't say it's not exciting, but you're just like, okay, I'm here again. I know what I need to do. These are appointments we need to do. One thing I'd say is I remember from the other side of the fence looking into the media world, of watch media world, and thinking, wow, Watches and Wonders, to be there and to go try on all these watches and take pictures of them and all this, it'd be amazing. That's the dream. And it is. I'm truly grateful we get to do that. But it's not all fun and games. As much as people are like, oh, you're so lucky you can do that. You know what? It's work. We bumped into a few people and like, oh, do you want to come along with us? And they're like, after one appointment, they're like, no, it's all right.
Yeah, we met some friends out there from London. And shout out to Georgina and Fergus. Yeah. And I think they were knackered after the first
we went
few hours.
This was a few days in. We went to Hortolans. And then we're like, oh, we need to run to the other side of the expo now to see Gerald Charles. Do you want to come with us? And they're like, we'll get a champagne. It's all right.
Yeah, we've had enough now.
Yeah, this is it, though. You dress smart. They have strict air conditioning laws in Geneva, so there's no airflow. You sweat in, you dress in a suit. We choose to do that, at least. And then you're running around. It's like a job we're passionate about, but it's not all fun and games, is what I'd say. But truly blessed to be able to handle and see these watches. Yeah, it's not all fun and games, I think, is what I'm trying to say. It's truly tiring.
You know, it's the greatest show on earth.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time, it's the watches. A lot of the time, it's the people that you meet.
Yeah. Like
I say, we met Ollie, Pietro, Sam. We met Emily, who we've got a show coming up with her, Emily Marsden. Yeah. We got to see her at an IWC appointment.
In her home territory.
Yeah. IWC, her second home, apparently. Then we saw Mike Stockton from Fratello and Max, photographer of Fratello. Those guys, they really do brighten up the event because they're just like straight in. Right, where are we going? Where are we drinking? And what are we drinking? Max is a young guy, so Mike's taken him under his wing. He's actually started coming on the Fratello On Air podcast on YouTube. So check out that and you'll see young Max. That was day one, yes.
Day one, yeah. Nicholas joined us, so my Colombian connection. So shout out Nicholas. And it was fun, right? We all hung out, talked watches, and had quite a few glasses of champagne during our downtime, which, as you say, it's just fun, right? Hanging around with those guys, always a good conversation and a bit of banter always flying around.
Had a few glasses of champagne. I just want to add, not ridiculous.
Not a full bottle. Maybe between us. That's full.
And then I had the mackerel.
No.
For lunch, which isn't my favourite food anymore. We went to appointments. We left Pel Expo. I started to feel very, very bad. And then Nicholas and his good friend from Barcelona via Colombia went out for a meal. We went out a couple of places. I said, I can't eat here. I don't know why. I just can't eat here. And then we ended up at a burger place. I think I probably had about half of my burger, if that, and some of the chips. And then I was like, I need to go home. Basically, I think it was food poisoning or potentially the Norovirus. I may have picked that up out of the food or at the event. So I don't know what it was, but my day two was absolutely ruined because the whole night I was violently sick. God, I had shivers, a bit of a fever, just pretty fucked up, basically.
Yeah. It was, I thought you was going to be okay. I just thought, it's got a bit of, trapped wind or something. It'd be all right.
Wind,
it just needs to go to the loo, right? keeping any other details out. And then I saw your message in the night, like, I think you're going to have to do day 2 alone.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing to process. So like, ooh, all right.
It was a weird thing to think I'm staying in a hotel in Geneva, in France.
Yeah, as well. Yeah,
after
weird.
having a couple of projectile vomit episodes.
Yeah. Apologies to
So if you're having your
all the
breakfast while
friends who
listening
we
to
like.
this, maybe forward it a little bit, yeah. Forward it to the awards, yeah. Go to the chapters and forward it to the awards bit, yeah.
You don't listen to this.
But that's enough I'm going to say about the sickness. But the whole day I was wiped out. Day 2 was done for me, absolutely done.
That was a strange experience, yeah. Because I was like, okay, I've got to go at this alone. And we didn't have anything until around 10 o'clock. So I did a few on-site appointments where you just call in on the off chance and got a few of those in with some pretty interesting brands. And then just did the rest of our agenda. But it's funny because, when you're starting to feel fatigued, normally between me and Pam, one of us is a bit more energetic than the other at some point in the day. So Pam might take over for a bit, and that's great. I'll just focus on a watch, take it in. He'll ask for questions, keep the conversation going, and vice versa. But when you're on your own, it's kind of like, I'm representing the podcast all on my own, and I've got to be engaging. There's no drop time. And that's something. It depends what session you're in. Sometimes if you're in one of the big sessions and it's just watch a presentation and then you pass the watches, it's different. But for example, Hublot, that was one-on-one, and I had to be on the game, had to ask the right questions. And it was good though, but it wasn't the same. I definitely missed you, Pam, but we got the job done, and that's what's important, right? And then the rest of the days went smooth. You were back in action, right, for day 3?
Powered through. I wouldn't say back in action, but I was hardly ate. Yeah, hardly
patched
ate. Up. I didn't drink, yeah.
Funny story, actually, quickly on that day too. I don't know how I did it, but a massive queue for the taxis. And I just queue jumped, not on purpose, but I realised at the time, I just jumped in front of 50 people who were really long the line. And I just somehow got around the security and walked. And I think he saw me oh, yeah, there's a guy who I just let through. And then I got a taxi instantly and then went straight to the pharmacy. And
Andy picked up some... This is what you call teamwork. This is where we realised that after these years, the team really is a strong unit, because Andy went and picked up... So I couldn't even literally going downstairs into the lobby. I just about made it to there. And I've got something out of the machine, which was so limited. I think I just needed some salt and some sugar. So I had to have a Coke and some Doritos, and it's probably the worst thing I could have eaten and drank, but I had to have something. I needed something to give me energy, and I couldn't make it outside because I didn't know where I was going, and it was all main roads, and I would have probably got knocked over by a lorry. It was it was touch and go, as they say. That's crazy, that taxi stop. You must have flashed your CP7 card or something, and that must have they must have just got taken to the front.
No, I don't know how I jumped it, but I'm glad I did, and it didn't rip me off. When he dropped me outside the pharmacy because he wasn't meter, running on the meter, he didn't overcharge me, which I was grateful for, because sometimes they'll just knock up that meter as soon as they're waiting, they take the mic. But yeah, this guy was nice. He was a nice guy, so that was fortunate. But yeah, I did feel bad because in the morning there wasn't much I could do. I think I bought you a
bottle of water.
But I got you the sparkling water. I thought that might help with the stomach. And then, I had to dash off. Luckily, there was a guy at the hotel who needed to get to the expo. He's like, do you mind if I jump in? I'll pay. I'm like, yeah, definitely. That's cool.
This is what I wanted to say. Last year, if you listen to our review show from last year, we serendipitously found a taxi driver when we were waiting for a bus and didn't know where we were going in our old hotel in France. I can't even remember where that was now. And we got his details and used him every day last year. And I messaged him this year, and he was like, yeah, sure, I can do again this year, every day if you want. So we used the same guy, and it was awesome. Brilliant guy, always on time, always waiting for us, polite. Again, it's the people that are part of the experience. So we'll call him Michael, shall we?
Yeah, don't give him more details though, because he's so reliable.
He's
Michael, 10 minutes early every single time, and he don't rip you off.
Codename Michael X. Yeah. Again, a familiar face. Again, it was just the element of trust that we were going to go and we were going to use him every day. And we had to exercise the element of trust of that, right, he's going to show up. So it was good. Yeah, it was another one of the people that we met.
Some days you were like, oh, don't worry, pay tomorrow. It's all right. So
yeah. I mean, he charged us, but not on the day.
But he still trusted us to.
He was good.
He was turn up the next day and pay me.
Yeah, well, he was a big guy. I think he probably knew that.
I wouldn't want to. Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess around with him. Good to have him in our corner. And yeah, that's it. The rest of the days all went smoothly. The night I got back and I got the same bug. I think what Pam got. I think I got the Norovirus. So that was fun.
So when Andy got home, he got it. At least you were at home. Like, it was only the only consolation is you were at home.
Yeah, I was walking through the airport and I was like, oh man, it's maybe because I'm not eating all day. You know, the last day we just rushed to do all the last appointments we could do before the flight. I had a packet of crisps and Pringles on the plane. And that's the only thing I ate all day. I feel really weak and weird. I thought it's just surely because I'm running on 0 fuel. And then I ordered a burrito from like my favourite Mexican, and I'm like, oh, this is a mistake. As soon as I take half of it,
I didn't know about the burrito.
Terrible. Yeah, this is a terrible mistake. And then I'm like, oh, I'll get some Sprite, that'll sort my stomach out. And it did, but it just delayed the,
the
it was going to happen. Yeah, exactly. So I like, you know what? I need to sort this out. I drank some lukewarm water, if you like, which is the thing what makes you go. And that was it.
Anyway, yeah.
But anyway, enough talking about illnesses.
Yeah, exactly.
We're a team. We share everything. It would seem.
Yeah, it was good. I liked that bit. I actually thought, well, this is all right. He's all right. Andy's okay, I thought.
What, because I was sick? Or because
No, because he brought me some medicine.
Oh, right, okay. Gosh.
Yeah.
It took how long have we known each other? It's took that long?
I know, I'm joking. But the team, sympathy norovirus you had.
Yeah, I tried to get it so it was on the final day, but it didn't come in time.
Can you imagine if you had to stay there?
No, but this is what I said. Jokes aside, 3 hours. If the flight was 3 hours later, I would have been in the hotel going nowhere.
Yeah,
not a word of a lie. I was bedbound. I just had to be. I was in bed from like 5 in the afternoon until 1 o'clock the next day, pretty much. So I mean,
we checked out as well. We checked out the hotel.
Yeah, I would have had to pay for a new room. Yeah, I would have had to. Jesus. Anywhere, Ibis, everywhere's full as well because you've got all the public day people coming. So I mean, but I would have to do something. No choice.
But one positive was I actually thought the whole show was done. I was so ill. I actually thought, and I've had food poisoning before recently, actually on another trip abroad, and that lasted nearly a week. So I was thinking, that's it, done and dusted. But like I said, powered through the next day. And I was all right. Everyone seemed to think, nothing wrong with you. And I was like, well, maybe the makeup team have done a brilliant job, but it's not ain't pretty.
But overall, you didn't miss too much. It's a shame you missed some of the brands, but I mean, it's always next year. There's always Geneva Watch Days, you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world.
Always next year. There's always next year.
I think that's enough ramblings about
that's
the event. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Awards.
That was Watches and Wonders 2026. Shall we do this? Shall we get into our inaugural CP7 Golden Tiger Watches and Wonders 2026 awards? Okay, so what we're going to do, we have a list of nominations and then we'll read out the winner. So we've got 5 categories. Category 1 is innovation. Category 2 is dress watch. Category 3 is tourbillon. Category 4 is sports watch. And category 5 is complication. And then we have a bonus, shall we say, category number 6, which is the silver turkey. So basically, the worst thing. What deserved an award for being so bad. So we will cover that at the end of our winners. The first innovation nomination is IWC's Space Watch, basically. The Ventura Vertical Drive is a watch made for space. It has an innovative rotating bezel system which replaces the crown. It's supposedly worn on top of a spacesuit, so that's actually pretty cool. I'm going to break it down into aesthetics, X factor, and risk presence of why this was nominated for the coveted award of CP7 Golden Tiger for Innovation for 2026 at Watches and Wonders. Talking of aesthetics, it's got a convex sapphire, anti-reflective coating on both sides. It's got a black dial with a white strap and case. The case is made from white zirconium oxide, ceramic, with a ceratanium bezel and case back. The X factor of this is that it has an innovative rotating bezel system which replaces the crown. It has 2 time zones. One is your mission time and one is the real time. So basically, if you're on Earth, you can set 2 time zones, local and home, or you can have mission and home. So there you go. So you can do all that. It's built to withstand extreme temperature shifts from over 100 degrees Celsius in direct sunlight down to minus 150 Celsius in space shade. So this is a space watch in every way. Talking of wrist presence, it looks big. It's 44.4 millimeters, 16.7 millimeters in height. But because it's a ceramic case and it's got that really cool rubber strap, it's very light. It sits on the wrist really well. It's supposed to sit on a spacesuit, but as you can tell, due to that technology they used, it wraps around your wrist very well. It just is as light as a feather. Unbelievable. And we've seen quite a few light watches, this Watches and Wonders. So that is nomination number 1, the IWC Pilot's Venturer Vertical Drive. And then, so what is nomination number 2, Andy?
This one comes down to the day 2 appointment. So with Hublot, and it is the Spirit of Big Bang Impact Sapphire Tourbillon. Gosh, where to start with this watch? So if we're talking wrist presence, 42 millimeter. Yeah, it is a sapphire case. So again, in-house grown synthetic sapphire, which Hublot grow. I'd love to see that in the manufacturer, actually. It's something we need to tick off the list. We've been invited many times. So I'd love to see all of this in action. What really impresses me, so let's go to X Factor. It's in the name, it's impact. So you've got the Big Bang, right? The classic Big Bang Classic range, Fusion range. This is the evolution of that. This is the impact after the Big Bang, the explosion. And you see that translate into the dial. And the dial really is the star of the show. So they've used osmium, which is an extremely rare element, a very expensive element. And they've incorporated that almost like a broken mosaic onto the dial. Best way to explain it is like an asteroid hitting something hard and then breaking into little particles. So you've got these osmium particles and then you've got these rhodium plated particles as well, which all blend together, creating this amazing effect. If that wasn't enough, it's a tourbillon, okay? It has moon phase at 6 o'clock with a sapphire window over the top. And it also has one of my favourite features on any watch, has a big date, so the double date, which always looks awesome. So when we're talking about X Factor, it's the dial. I just remember a funny story, actually. So when I was at the appointment to see this watch, it wasn't there. She didn't have it. And she's like, I think Usain Bolt's wearing it outside. I want me to run and see if I can get it off his wrist. And she literally ran out and somehow got the watch for me. I'm like, you know what? Thank you so much. I really wanted to see this one. It looks, because she was showing me on the iPad, there were loads of watches in front of me, but not that particular one. And then she's like, oh, no, you really want to see that. So she ran and got it.
So she outran Usain Bolt to get the watch
She did somehow.
Wow.
So technically, I also handle the watch, which was on Usain Bolt's wrist. That's kind of cool as well.
Yeah, you got to touch his dead skin.
Yeah, how amazing. His skin particles probably still on my wrist. Not washed it since. No, joking.
Maybe that's why you got sick.
I'm so fast now. Look, it's jokes aside, X Factor wise, the dial.
I want to talk about the runs.
Yes. Look, there's loads of puns. Talking about the dial, I mean, incredible. If there was one I wish you could have seen, Palm, in all seriousness, it would have been this one. It was something else. Just the overall presence of the watch, just fit perfectly, the aesthetic. They even had another edition of this where they did the first ever diamond encrusted sapphire case as well, and they actually had to hand chisel each little notch for each diamond, and every single diamond was a different size to look like the impact as well, which just attention to detail. If we're talking innovation, is it innovation in watch movement? To a degree, but I'd say the real innovation is in case design and in dial design. But yeah, definitely worthy of a nomination. And yeah, I think you can hear my enthusiasm on this one. This one really stood out to me at the show. But Pam, what's next?
The third nomination is sticking with a space theme, but this is science fiction space. This is the Hortlance Retrovision 64. if you know Hortlets, the brand, this is going to be so off the wall, so out there, very left of field. It's going to be a crazy, crazy watch. You think MB&F are crazy. I think Hortlets kills them all. It is just so innovative and just so much fun, so playful. So basically, this Retrovision 64 is a limited edition watch, like all Hortlets models. So the Retrovision 64 is a playful tribute. This is quoting them because they can't say the name of the program. A playful tribute to a 1960s small screen science fiction communicator, but endowed with serious horological content. Now, basically, it looks like, think back to Star Trek, the original series, with the one with William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock. They have those little flip-top communicators which they talk to, which is what they say. When mobile phones became popular, the clamshell case was actually based on these communicators, and they've actually made a watch that looks just like that, and it is insane. You pop it open there's a button on the outside of the case, and then it opens up. You see the magic begins. There's a Star Trek communicator under there with a cool 60s vibe retrograde dial with a tourbillon tucked in at the right at 3 o'clock, and it's just insane. It's retrograde and tourbillon. The hours are lined up 1 to 12 at the bottom, and in the middle of that case is that retrograde minutes dial with the single hand and the skeletonized movement, which shows the tourbillon, like I said, at 3 o'clock. So it's fun, it's technical, and it's got Hortons' confidence to mix horology, science fiction, and nostalgia so blatantly, unapologetically, and it's just flexing some serious high horology. And I've got to say, I loved the look of this one. It was just so good. It's big, it's not practical. So let's talk about wrist presence. It's huge. It's weird looking, but it's magnificently out of this world, and all for very different reasons. It's mental. It's so good, it's mental. It's brilliant. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Horology and fun at their best. So now we'll do a drum roll. So Andy is going to open the envelope, which tells us who the winner is of the CP7 Golden Tiger Innovation Award for Watches and Wonders 2026. So away you go, Andy.
Hang on, just opening the envelope. The winner is the IWC Pilots Ventura Vertical Drive. Well done. We'll be sending you your digital NFT award.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chris Granger couldn't be here today to take this award, but we will send it to him.
That then leads us to the dress watch category, where we have 3 nominations, some pretty strong nominations within the dress watch category. And I'll kick things off. We start with the Cradle Gold Feather. This is the blue dial, the limited platinum run. So the reference is the GBBY967. So that's a bit of a mouthful, but there you go. That's the exact one. However, let's break this down. At first glance, you'd be like, what's special about it then? Because it's just a simple two-hander, nice platinum case. A thing with platinum is it's very unassuming. It's very under the radar. If you know, you know. Otherwise, you'd mistake it for steel. And this certainly does that. It's very, very understated. If we're talking wrist presence, 38mm, which I would say for modern standards is pretty much the perfect diameter for most watch enthusiasts for a dress watch. Then it's an ultra slim construction as well. So it's a manually wound movement, beautifully finished movement as well, extremely thin with a sapphire case back. And then the X factor, the star of the show, is the Urushi lacquer dial, which is this beautiful blue layered lacquering technique, and it creates this beautiful gradient where it goes from bright to a rich dark blue hue to the outer edges of the watch, to where the numerals, not numerals, the indices, so the hand-painted indices are laying. This is where you appreciate it. When you sat within the Bicrador presentation and they play the video and you see them painting by hand each little indice and layering it, and the attention to detail, what really goes into creating the dial, is one mistake, the dial's ruined. It's truly a work of art. It's kind of simple perfection, if that makes sense. An absolute incredible piece, extremely lightweight, hence the name Gold Feather. So although it is platinum, due to the ultra-thin movement and the ultra-thin case design, you knew you had some quality, but the whole idea, it's in the name Gold Feather, it's very lightweight, very, very slim, the watch on the wrist, and a true classic gentleman's wristwatch, I would say, for a dress piece. Unassuming, but for those watch fanatics, as soon as you get it under a loop, you start to appreciate every little detail and painstaking hour what went into creating such a dial. That's nomination numero uno. And then I think, Pam, over to you. What's next?
Nomination number 2 is the Piaget Andy Warhol Blue Quartz. Now, Piaget is a brand I've fallen in love with over the last 12 to 18 months. And this was a tough contest for me to pick this one because they also released a white gold Polo 79 with a soda light dial. Amazing detailing, and it was just, like I say, it was the next evolution of the 79, but I thought I was going to nominate this. This is the one I left Watches Wonder thinking, yeah, that's going to be one of my favourites. And then I went through my photos and then I saw the Andy Warhol with the blue quartz. And I thought, I actually am thinking about that more. Even though as stunning as the 79 was, it's a very tight contest, the blue quartz dial Andy Warhol is something special. I mean, it's a stone dial reinterpretation of Piaget's 1970s black tie, which is now, well, since 2024, renamed the Andy Warhol and has been approved by the Andy Warhol Foundation, but reborn with a blue quartz dial that continues Piaget's famous golden age of ornamental dials, and you know what they're famous for. In terms of aesthetics, the rose gold step cushion case, beautifully finished, so it's brushed and polished at different stages of that step case. So much work and craftsmanship has gone into finishing that dial. It's a big dial, but it's been done to perfection. And then the highlight, the amazing powder blue to royal blue textured and veined stone dial. Basically, the look of it, I think which really swung it for me was the different colours of the quartz. The one I had was almost like an aerial view of London when you see the River Thames sort of zigzagging through the bottom third. It was, again, perfection. So thank you, Piaget, the people at Piaget, for giving us an amazing experience there. And thank you for making that watch. So that is nomination number 2 for dress watches.
So then that leads me to number 3. And yeah, this one is equally impressive as the last two. It's a tough one when you really look at these pieces. So we have the Zenith CFJ and we have the Bloodstone Green dial. I mean, let's kick it off with the aesthetics of the watch. It's absolutely breathtaking. It sits at 39 millimeters, slightly larger, but it has this curvature to the lugs, which just makes it sit so well on the wrist. It has a presence, but it doesn't dominate your wrist. And just the dial, the Bloodstone, again with this beautiful, strong, rich green, but then these elements of red, veins kind of running through it. And then to contrast, very subtly, you've got this beautiful mother of pearl for the running seconds at 6 o'clock. Moving to the caliber, one thing which they changed from last year's launch, which I think was a nice move, is not that I didn't appreciate what they did to the movement last time, but they had kind of the brick motif of the manufacture, which I think was really cool. It was an anniversary edition last year. When we move into this year, we're moving away from the anniversary, so they moved away from that brick motif and went to more traditional finishing on the caliber. And I like that. Not that I didn't appreciate the brick, but just going back to the classic guilloche finishing, and Geneva stripes. Then another fun detail is, depending on the light, you have your hour indices, and then you have like this kind of almost a brick motif pattern once again running throughout, but you only see it in certain light. It really plays with the light. If we're talking about wrist presence, again, like it's not overly large, but I'd say it's quite bold. You've got this beautiful rose gold case, and then this rich green bloodstone dial. It just really kicks it all off. Like, I mean, some watches you put it on and you're just like, this is such a vibe. Sometimes it's just that. It just looks so good. Great evolution for the CFJ. The historic pieces were in gold and steel, so I think steel will come at some point. But yeah, this is nomination number 3. But Palm, there can only be one winner. So who is it?
Oh, this is tense. Who is going to be our dress watch winner? I have the envelope here. And the 2026 winner of the Dress Watch Award is the Zenith GFJ Yellow Gold Caliber 135. So everyone put their hands together for Zenith. Unfortunately, Benoit de Klerk was not here to be able to accept this award, but he will be receiving that award as soon as possible. Thank you.
Tough category. I liked all 3 nominations there, but there can only be one winner. What's next? I believe it's Tourbillon. This is a big one, right?
Nomination 1 is the Piaget Ultrafino Maserati. This flying tourbillon watch is based on the 2026 Maserati MC Pura supercar. The collaboration is marking 100 years of the trident symbol being used by the brand. Not 100 years of Maserati, but 100 years of the trident being used, which was first used in the first race that they entered. Talking about aesthetics on this one, to match the car, it's got a beautiful sky blue strap and accents on the hands, the crown, and parts of the tourbillon. It's a carbon case, so it's going to be very light. A tonneau shape, of course, which Piaget is known for. And the birdcage design on the dial is to represent the rims of that Maserati MC Pura supercar. Basically, an open dial with that detail on it, and the flying tourbillon at 6 o'clock. The X factor of this now is much like a lot of Piaget's watches. It's built to withstand 5,000 G of shock resistance, ultra-thin automatic flying tourbillon. Every component serves a purpose. So every component in that watch has a distinct, clear horological purpose, which allows a reduction in the thickness, improves efficiency, and maintains long-term stability and strength of that watch. This almost came under sports watch, this in that category. So it's so sporty. It's very motor racing. It's very Piaget. Wrist presence, again, extremely light due to high-density carbon, 40 mil by 47.5 millimeters, and 9.9 millimeters thick. Piaget makes some beautiful watches, and this, I think, is definitely getting it out of that Richard Mille comparison zone, and it's definitely coming into its own. It's prominent enough to know when you're wearing it, but light enough for you to forget you're wearing it. I think that highlights a very good looking and well-made watch. And that is nomination number 1 for Tourbillon.
So then that leads to number 2, and it's a heavy hitter. We're with Arnold & Son with the ultra-thin platinum onyx. Gosh, where to start? Like, it blew us away last year, but now we have the Platinum Onyx edition. I mean, let's just get on with it. So, if we're talking presence, I mean, it has a more of a serious presence, this piece, as it's 41.5 millimeter diameter, so it's slightly larger. But because it's so slim, so well executed for a tourbillon as well, completely different to Piaget, but at the same time, it's there, but it doesn't take over your wrist, right? It's slim, it's wearable, it's a very sleek profile. Now, when it comes to the X factor for me, it's the dial. The dial is absolutely incredible, and you have this beautifully polished onyx main dial, or main plate. It's not a plate as it's a stone, but the main segment of the dial, the main portion of the dial. Then you have at 12 o'clock your time display, so your hour and minutes display, also in onyx, but finished in satin. And it's this subtle, again, contrast between the polished onyx and the satin finished. It's almost like it's floating in space somewhat, a way it's done. I don't know, it's so pure, so beautiful how it's executed. And then if that's not enough, at 6 o'clock, you have the tourbillon running away in action. Now, there's more weight to the watch with it being platinum. For a tourbillon, for what this watch is, stealthy, less flashy with it being in platinum, but a serious watch for any true collector and connoisseur. It's up there. It's a strong contender. Very beautiful to look at. We both just got absolutely lost in this piece, to be honest. And it's only 8.4 millimeter in thickness, so definitely a dress piece as well as a tourbillon. It can fit under a cuff, no issue. So yeah, pure class, I would say. That leaves us with one last nomination. So which is number 3?
Number 3. Oh, big hit for tourbillon. And again, this could have come under complication as well because its name and just what it is the Artia Complexity. Now, have we got a treat for you to talk about this one? Because the Artia Complexity is everything its name says. It's a sapphire case, tonneau-shaped, a double-inclined tourbillon whose entire identity is built around transparency, curvature, and symmetry. It's got a dual tourbillon. Artia called that a double cornillon tourbillon. One's at 12 and one's at 6. And it's a world's first that those two tourbillons are placed at that position. Now, in terms of aesthetics, the sapphire case is finished to perfection. It's transparent. Artia do love their see-through translucent watches. And we found out how long it takes to make one of these cases. And it's 300 hours to actually make and finish it. So 100 hours to grow the sapphire, 100 hours to shape it, and 100 hours to polish it. So one case of these watches takes 300 hours to get to the condition that it will be sold at. And what's the X factor of this? It's visually stunning, but it's got, like I said before, a double inclined tourbillon system with a differential coupling. Now, the amazing thing about that differential is it distributes the energy between the two cornillons. So it guarantees that each cage receives an identical torque regardless of the winding position of the barrel, which is basically an indispensable condition for the chronometric stability of this twin tourbillon architecture. This really is just complex. In terms of wrist presence, it's 42 by 48 millimeters. Look, it's a big watch, but you know it's there and it's no secret. It's so magnificent. You don't want to keep it a secret anyway because it is just unbelievable. So that is nomination number 3. Andy, get your envelope ready and tell us who has won the Tourbillon Award.
Here we go. The winner is the Artia Complexity, which is no surprise, right? An absolutely incredible piece, but some tough competition there.
Unfortunately, Ivan Arpa couldn't make it today, but we will send on his award as soon as we can. And that leads us to our next category, which is sports watch. Probably the most competitive category so far. Andy, do you want to read out nomination number 1?
Let's start with the first nomination, which is the Moser Streamliner Pump. I mean, nostalgia rush. When I saw this, I was like, okay, this is so cool. This is so cool. And I mean, I don't know about you, Pam, but I remember, as a kid, seeing the Reebok pumps and pumping up the tongue and deflating it, and it was just so cool. And just the creativity which goes through Edouard's mind to create these funky watches. I mean, it's so fresh. First of all, if we're talking about presence, it's 40 millimeter and it's made out of forged quartz composite, which basically means each case will be slightly different. It will have its own unique patterning to the case. It's the classic streamliner aesthetic on the rubber strap. And yeah, you've just got this bright orange pump button just below 9 o'clock, around 8 o'clock, right? And what's really cool about it is it's got around 74 hours. So 74 hours power reserve So you can pump the watch 74 times. So each pump creates 1 hour of power reserve. And the really cool thing about this is it's made like a fidget watch. So you can pump, pump, pump without it sounding weird. So you can pump beyond 74 times and you won't damage your watch. You won't overwind the watch. So you can fidget, mess around with this watch, pass it to your mates. Everybody can have a go. And yeah, when I tried this out, the sensation you feel under your thumb is something I've never felt before. The gears mesh together and the barrel wind. It's not like winding a crown. It's a different kind of sensation. It's really cool how they've done it. When you just got this, again, just to the right of the pump button, the charge button, let's say, you have the power reserve display also in that funky, fresh orange. Orange always goes so well, right? It's classic. Orange and white just really pops well together. And then you've got this beautifully pure, crisp, white, lacquered, classic purity Moser dial with the Moser text in off-white. I absolutely love this one. Great innovation, even though it's not in the innovation category. And you do get a pair of Reebok pump trainers with this watch if you do go for it. I mean, bargain. It sits around 30k, but I mean, for what you get in the technology, the design, what went into this, for this level of watchmaking, I think it's worth every penny. It's really, really cool. That's nomination number 1. So over to you, Palm. What's number 2?
Number 2, gosh, that's a sore subject on this show. Right, nomination number 2 is the Norqain Wild One Skeleton X Lite. Now, Norqain's quite a new brand, but we're big fans of their watches. The Wild One Skeleton X Lite is a concept watch showcasing a new and innovative Nortec multi-material construction designed for extreme performance. A true sports watch in terms of aesthetics, skeletonized dial, black Nortec case parts, top, bottom and sides. It's got yellow rubber shock absorbers, so it's got a majority of black with yellow accents, shall we say. So the yellow's on the crown, the inner bezel ring, and certain other aspects of the strap and on the ear of the case, the left-hand side ear of the case. Also, an open case back. What is the X factor for this watch? I've got to say, when I tried it on, it was light as a feather, and which will come under wrist presence. So it weighs just 45 grams. And paired with an ultralight double-layered rubber strap. It's so futuristic, yet it's so sporty. So it's crazy. It's like one of these sports that you see in these movies, that were the sports from the future. So it's a futuristic and sporty watch. I can almost see, if it had electric blue accents instead of the yellow, or those hot pink ones, this could be used in Tron or something. This could be one of the watches they would use while they're racing their bikes and throwing those discs at each other. It's from the 80s movie. I've got to say, yeah, really cool watch, really sporty. Something that I think definitely deserved the nomination. One thing I have to say is the yellow could have been a bit more golden than it would have been in CP7 colours. So the black and gold would have been there, but maybe, next year. You never know. So that's nomination number 2.
Future collaboration. Nomination number 3, without further ado, is the Gerald Charles GC Sport Tennis White. And where to start with this? So we go with presence. It sits at 39mm, and you have this titanium case, only 11mm thick. It really, a big part of it is the strap, the way the Velcro strap fits the watch, fits your wrist. It just has this sporty vibe, right? It just feels so comfortable, a way you can adjust it on your wrist, and the elastic. I don't know, it's something you don't normally get. The only kind of other watches I've seen this with is like RM, and I've never really interacted with those. I'm sure they feel great as well. But this elastic, it just feels so sporty and comfortable. And then the dial, again, it's just this kind of monotone theme which runs through the watch from the case to the strap and then the dial. It's almost like a fume, but with this really grainy texture to the dial as well. You've just got the 12, 3 and 9, the date at 6. The dial's a very crisp white and then goes to this outer grayer, monotone. So the watch is very monotone, kind of polar-esque. And the really cool thing about this piece is it's made for tennis. And you can play tennis wearing this watch. It's extremely shock resistant. I think that doesn't just look sporty. You can beat the hell out of it and it'd be all right. And I think that's what makes this pretty awesome, I would say, and definitely worthy of its nomination spot within the sports category. But there can only be one winner, so Palm, I think it's time to rip open that envelope.
Tense moment. Now, this is a highly competitive category, so I have my envelope. The 2026 Golden Tiger Award winner for Sports Watch is... Let's have a hand for the Moser Streamliner Pump. Wow, what a choice. And this also wins the award for Best Sneaker Collaboration. So there you have it. Thank you very much. That is the Sports Watch Award.
We're down to the final category, and maybe one of the most interesting categories, which would be complication. So, Palm, you want to kick this one off?
I will kick this one off. Why not? Nomination number 1 for the Complication Award is the Angelus Tinkler 1958 Quarter Repeater. Not only does it have an unbelievably cool name, the Tinkler, but it is the only chiming watch in our list, in our nominated categories. So, I mean, we've been talking about this quite a bit recently. Chiming watches seem to be like the ultimate. You get perpetual calendars, and yes, they are. And many calendar type of complications, but there's a charm, there's an old world charm about a chiming watch. That simple noise, which is basically from an age long ago, but it still gets us watch nuts going crazy. Just that little ping, ping, ping. That is why this is up there for me. It was the first waterproof automatic repeater that was ever made. This is a remake by Angelus. It's 38 millimeters. It sits on the wrist with such cool vintage vibes. It's got perfectly finished stick hands. It's got the marker at 12. These amazing Art Deco 3-barrel indices at 3, 6, and 9. It's a simple watch. Yeah, it's a stunning watch. And it's a quarter repeater, so it does every hour and 15 minutes. It just is a special treat. When we heard this, when we sat with Pascal and he showed us this watch, I'd gone in with high hopes, and those hopes had been met by this watch. Like I said, the wrist presence is, it feels like you're wearing a vintage watch with just that slight modernity to it to give it that relevance in today's market to be sold as a high-end, high complicated watch. It retails at 33,100 in steel, 49,200 in gold, and I'd say if you've got that kind of cash, it has to be the yellow gold, because it's just beautiful. Really gives me that old retro Longines look to it, with those straight lugs as well, just perfectly shaped and curved. Beautiful watch. So that is nomination number 1.
That leaves me to the second nomination, which is another heavy hitter, more conventional in a world of complication, but executed to perfection. That is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar Skeleton in titanium. Now, this was a great appointment, and getting to try this one on the wrist really was something. Some would argue when you get to this kind of price category around 180k, you want to feel a bit of weight on your wrist for the money you're spending. But when it comes to this kind of complication, having it so lightweight and with a skeletonized movement, it just kind of felt right to me. Now, presence-wise, it sits at 41 millimeter. You don't feel it on your wrist so much. You know you're wearing something, but it's very sporty, very comfortable. But really, the caliber 5135 is an absolute schooling in how to make a skeletonized perpetual calendar, in my opinion. They also use this caliber in the Code 11 perpetual skeletonized watch as well, which looked awesome. But Royal Oak's a Royal Oak. I was just a sucker for that, but it did look great in the Code 11. The way they've done the moon phase at 6 is just so beautiful. The way it contrasts the rich hue of the blue, the Audemars Piguet text there at the bottom, and then these golden rings around each dial for your month, for your day, etc. I mean, it's executed so well, the skeletonization. It's got legibility, but beautiful details throughout. But you can tell the movement has not just been stripped down to show it and be skeletonized. It's a movement what's been built from the ground up, knowing that it's going to be all on display. Yeah, it looked incredible, and the polishing around the bezel, the contrast, just for titanium, a very difficult material to work with to get that level of finishing. I mean, the open work architecture, the finishing, for me, this piece was superb, and I think many would agree it's worthy of its nomination within the complication category. Classic complication, but executed to a whole new level of quality, I would say. So that's number 2. But Palm, I think I'm dribbling over this one a little bit, being an AP fanboy. But number 3, what do we have?
Number 3 is, it's another treat. When you talk about complications and you talk about Watches and Wonders 2026, this is a real first. Basically, nomination number 3 is the Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda PF Chronograph Mystérieux. Now, Mystérieux, you say, mysterious. This is the third in the Rattrapant series. Not Rattrapant as you would imagine in its purest form for a chronograph, with 2 timers on it. It just means it's the literal French translation of catch up. So this is the third in the Rattrapant series. The last one they did was a GMT, which had the hidden GMT hands, and now Parmigiani have amazingly done it with a chronograph. I spoke to a few friends about this, and they were saying, what's the point? They didn't believe it was a good complication. So I've had to keep quiet and just join in with them and say, yes, yeah, because I knew this was going to be a big hitter in our nominations list. So what is a chronograph mystérieux? What it does, it's got 5 hands in total. You see 3 in time-only mode. You see 3 hands. You see the hour hand, the minute hand, and the second hand. And then when you deploy the pusher at 7:30 to start the chronograph, those hands that you see initially both go to 12. And in their original position, there's a minute and an hour hand in rose gold underneath. So now the original hands are at 12 and the rose gold hands are at the current time. You activate the chronograph with the pusher at 7:30 to start it off. It's the same seconds hand used throughout because the second hand resets to 12 o'clock also. And then once you deploy the pusher at 7:30, that starts the chronograph, which then measures your hours and minutes using the dial on the watch. There are no sub-dials. There's no specialized technique of telling you how it's done. It is just, wow. How do they think of that? And how did they do it? Unbelievable. It's a flyback chronograph as well. So you click it, it flies back. And then if you want to bring it back to time only, the chronograph hands will then cover the rose gold hands at the correct time. And that's how it continues as a time only watch. I don't know if I've explained that very well, but I have to say it's such a mind-blowing complication. It's pretty damn difficult to explain. But that's my understanding of it. And I think it's more than worthy of winning this highly prestigious award.
Excellent. Glad I didn't have to describe that one. It's a tough one. But it's magic, right? It's some magic in the way the hands just disappear. Yeah. So, which is the winner? It's time for that drum roll. I need to open that envelope, I believe. Let me tear it open now. And the winner is... Well, I'm struggling here. It's the last one. You do super glue this one. Here we go. It's open. So the winner is the Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda PF Chronograph Mystérieux. So, tough category, but definitely brings the most unusual and pleasant complication, I would say, out of the nominations.
Just have to say, unfortunately, Guido Turini couldn't join us this evening, so we will send him his award as soon as possible.
NFT, or maybe we just,
Oh, it's solid gold, 24 karat gold.
I was just going to
award.
print it out in black and white. Need to save on ink, do black and white.
All right, we'll do that one then, yeah. Oh, well, that concludes the awards. Actually, no. Oh, we do have... those are the winners.
Tiger.
But then we do also have... Those are the Golden Tigers. We have the Silver Turkey. And Andy, do you want to kick us off?
basically, disappointments. It's a tough one because there was no real terrible watches introduced at the show, but there was some where you just a bit, that's it. I think for me, I expected a little bit more from Tudor. 100 years is significant. I know they did the Monarch, which is very cool. That was to signify the 100-year milestone. And it was a nice enough looking watch. It was paying tribute to the past and modernized in a very nice way. I just kind of wanted a bit more. I expected a bit more, Shazam, something happening, a bit more excitement.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was a flop. I'm not saying it was a bad watch. I just mean that's it. 100 years. This is it.
The
Monarch. This is it.
Is that it though?
That was it. It's the 100th anniversary model. 70s inspired, integrated style design, faceted case and textured beige tan champagne dial. That is what it says in the spiel on the website.
Right, I'll go one further. Andy, I was actually disappointed. Not in the releases. The Monarch's a cool watch, and the watches they released were cool for any other year, but it's 100 years. You've got to do something a bit more special, I think. It's like even Rolex celebrated 100 years of the OP with that, basically.
That was more exciting.
With that Wimbledon dial, 100-year, Oyster Perpetual, with basically slate dial, green accents, and gold. So basically a gold Wimbledon dial, date just. In OP form. Even the Jubilee dial was pretty cool.
I was going to say the very desirable 34mm case. For most, it's not. I'm joking.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, the motif dial, that's an interesting one. Some controversy over that one, right?
Yeah, there's. Did they steal the idea from someone? I mean, let's not get into that.
No, we're not.
These are nominees for. I mean, I think Tudor could have done more. I really do.
If I have to pick one, look, Rolex is Rolex. Every now and then they do a wild card. Offline, Pam rightly said, you got the Land Dweller last year. That was your big one. So, I mean, this year, of course, it's going to be a bit more subtle. The Yachtmaster's back. The Yachtmaster 2.
Well, the watch that nobody wanted back. But we got it.
It'll grow on people.
It's all right. I don't mind the Yachtmaster 2. And they've taken Yachtmaster 2 off the bezel. They've made it a bit better. Again, I didn't expect much from Rolex. Their thing is incremental. They're not going to break the mold every year. We know it's going to be another 5-6 years before they do anything. So it's going to be just a different dial change. Yeah, even the date with the really nice Aventurine dial, I think it is. Yeah, that green. It's just it's really cool. But again, nothing amazing. Just dial changes and 100 written on one of the watches.
Nothing groundbreaking.
Maybe platinum in the Daytona. I didn't expect much.
Exactly.
Because they went all out last year.
I think that's completely fair. So Rolex, they don't get the award. I think it has to go to Tudor. And it's not that I don't love Tudor, but come on, 100 years.
Tudor.
I mean, it's all right, but it's not. I mean, it's just.
It's not pizzazz. It's not, it's not worthy of this award ceremony, with all the razzmatazz and all the
X Factor,
high-profile celebrities and guests we've got in the audience. It's not becoming of this event.
So we'll make the turkey out of tin foil and we'll ship it across to
we'll ship it across to Tudor.
Yeah. Might get damaged in post. Might just look like a screwed up tinfoil ball.
Ironically, Tudor are the only people who turned up who could actually accept their award. So sorry about that. There you go.
So that concludes their awards, I think, on that bombshell. I think now it's just some of our takeaways, some of our highlights, our key moments, and we're conscious of the show. If you're still listening at this point, thank you.
Yeah, if you're still awake.
Quick fire. Actually, let's do just quickly. Out of all the nominations, which watch would you like to take home, Pam? If you could only take one out of all the watches we nominated today, which do you wish was sat there on your wrist right now? Okay,
I'm going to pick one and just do a quick... We've already talked about it. So it would be the Angelus Tinkler 1958 quarter repeater. That would be the one for me. In yellow gold.
Excellent choice. I'm very torn personally between the Zenith GFJ with a bloodstone dial. I'm very torn for the AP, Perpetual Skeletonized Perpetual Calendar, and also the Moser Pump. But
hang on, can we say more than one? Hey,
I'm saying torn between those three.
Right.
I'm torn between those three. If I've got to take one, Zenith, well done. You got me. The Zenith GFJ, yeah, the bloodstone, and I believe it's like a rose gold case. Just beautiful. Yeah, class. You win. So there we go. That's my take home. Not bad. So we look forward to being sent those watches, right?
Yeah, in the post. But I think it's more than a fair trade. Yeah. If there was anything else I'd take as well, the Piaget Andy Warhol, which if I could. And also there's one I saw. I had an out of Palexpo experience. I went to see JLC. Yeah, I went to see JLC in London at their boutique, and one of the novelties that they had released was the 3 Master Control watches, and they'd released one. They released some in rose gold and nice chocolate dial. They had a perpetual calendar, which was out of this world. But even the time only, I would take, because that could replace a day date. If you're in the market for a day date, I think that could even replace it, because it's just different. Well, but it's rose gold for starters, and it hasn't got a day function on it, but it is a stunning watch.
Awesome. Okay, if you're doing that, I'm taking home the AP Skeleton Perpetual Calendar, and I'm also taking home the Moser Pump, as well as the Zenith. Okay. So,
and another one I saw, I had another out of Palexpo experience at Vacheron Constantin in London, again at their clubhouse, and the cardinal points, the overseas cardinal points in blue, full titanium. I preferred it on the strap. It's that kind of watch. There's a very popular podcast, and they said that they would consider selling their watch collection to buy that watch. So that's how good it is. It's an amazing blue dial. Yep. So those are our takeaways.
Taking them all.
And now let's move. I got 3. You got 3. Now let's move to our highlights of the show. I'll kick off. We were at a Jacob & Co. appointment, and we were sat next to a very knowledgeable and charming lady known as Elizabeth Dewar, who is a very respected journalist. She's the co-founder of Quill & Pad, amongst other journalistic ventures. An absolutely amazing woman. She wowed us with her knowledge and her interrogation of Jacob & Co. And she basically showed how journalism should be done. She just questioned and questioned and questioned in a nice way as well.
Yeah, it was like, oh, do you mind if these guys join? They're trying to get the last session done, right? That was towards the end of the day, you know, and you do the normal polite, oh, how you doing, etc. And then I just remember her, like, the watchmaker at Jacob & Co. was showing an aventurine dial, and he was describing it as stone, and she's like, that's not a stone. And I'm like, oof. This is spicy. I wasn't expecting this. And it's a new character. You're trying to gauge them, right? And then just her knowledge and confidence in her knowledge, taking no bullshit, like completely respectful towards Jacob & Co. As no, you know, it was fun. And she said she's known it, you know, the watchmaker for a long time. But it was fun, because most people are, yeah, okay, cool. But she was very much like, are you sure about that? Tell me about this. Like it was like, as you said, Pam, like an education in how to be a top journalist within the watch industry.
Journalist.
Yeah. Like, she asked for tough questions, and she's not shy to. She didn't back down. She was very confident, and it was impressive.
Yeah, and this is why I was so impressed with her. One, aventurine is glass. The stone is actually totally different from it. Aventurine is a glass, she said, made in Murano in an island off Venice. When you go to these events now, you see a lot of influencers and pseudo-journalists, and they're standing in front of their cameras or their phones with their tripod on and spitting knowledge. You know, that's the best term you can use for the way they're doing it. And yeah, well, I know about this, and let's check this out. And then you've got an experienced journalist who knows what they're talking about and is so pleasant and polite, just a strong character. And it just restores your faith in what we do, because there's times when you'll be on social media and you're like, oh my god, not this, oh, not them again, oh my god, I've learned nothing from this. I mean,
there's a lot of copy and paste going on.
That's the reassuring part of meeting someone like Elizabeth Dewar. And it turns out she's good friends with our good friend Martin Green as well. So I can see why, because they're very similar in their knowledge and the way they are. with restored my faith in a lot of watch people.
I understand that sentiment. You can just get sick of certain circles. I respect everybody in the industry and what everybody does, but I really respect old school traditional journalism like that, and it was just refreshing.
To the point.
In a world of everything's influencer and wrist rolls and look at me, I'm with the latest and I'm
buzzwords,
here,
slang,
look where I am, look what I'm invited
buzzwords,
to.
Slang, this,
and
that.
It's like, okay, cool,
look
good
at my
for
party.
You, but
Ooh.
you're not telling me everything. All you're telling me is, look how lucky I am. I'm here, here, and here. But you're not educating me.
Yeah.
With Elizabeth, it's just like, no, this is pure journalism. And I'm sure sitting in a few meetings with Martin would be a similar experience as well. But yeah, brilliant. It was a pleasure to meet, and hopefully we can do something in the near future. Watch his space, right?
Let's hope so. Yeah, I mean, she'd be an amazing guest. Absolutely amazing.
Just sit back and listen, I think.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. We'll hit record. you teach us your ways.
Eventually. Right. One other quick highlight was we're walking past Rolex on our last day. We're walking out of Palexpo to pick up bags up to go to the airport. A massive rush of people going to the Rolex booth. Camera phones out, cameras out. I mean, they're talking about, it was so calm and yet it just went mental. I looked around, I just thought, so I look at the front of the crowd, see what's happening, and there's this tall gentleman, Roger Federer, was just standing, almost mobbed, but he was just walking as cool as he is. He's about 6'5", and so you can't miss him. And that was a highlight for me to see Roger Federer, a cool dude. A real cool dude.
I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what's going on? Why are there all these people? You're like, it's Roger Federer. I'm like, you are?
It's Roger Federer. And you said, where? I go, you see that head right above everyone else?
Jokes aside, I know who he
Roger
is.
Federer.
But, I was just like, what? Who? What? When? What are you on about? And then I realised, I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
You see that influencer?
Yeah. That influencer guy
from Instagram.
A bit of tennis every now and then.
Is he that guy that comes on Instagram and YouTube? Right, okay, let's wrap this up. We are way overdue on our timing, so my editing skills are going to have to be at their best to chop this down to a palatable length.
I've got every faith in your ability, so thank you for listening. Make sure to go to our website. Sorry, we've not plugged it until now, but you should know it by now, I am sure. www.
You should know it by now.
Chronopassion7, as in the number 7.com, where you will have all the show notes showing you all of the nominations and the special award, which will be gifted to all of the winners. So, I'll sign off. That is adios, hasta luego from Barcelona. You'll hear me on the next one.
Yep, as Andy says, farewell from Barcelona in Spain. You have been listening to Chrono Passion 7 on the CP7 podcast. And from London, it's Toodle Pip and laters. And we'll see you, and you'll hear us in the next one.